Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, which is going to be focused on our technology apprenticeships. My name is Abby, or Abigail Leet, and I am going to be sort of hosting you today on kind of finding out a bit about our apprenticeships and how we can sort of support you in changing the direction of your career, or if you're thinking about returning to work following a break and doing something different. We're looking to have this as very much an interactive session, so we'll be asking you to submit questions as we go along in the chat. Please familiarise yourself now with where this is. There's no such thing as an unimportant question, so please feel free to share any kind of thoughts or topics that you'd like to know more on, and during our Q&A, we will be able to touch on as many of these as we can. There are closed captions available in the chat, so if you'd wish to follow along via those, please familiarise yourself with where those closed captions are located. So there'll be lots of opportunities for questions within our Q&A. You'll hear from a couple of Amazonians. Please make notes of those questions and look forward to sort of seeing what those questions look like.
So hi everyone, thank you so much again for joining this webinar. As you can see on the screen, my name is Samantha Dickin and I'm one of the senior program managers here at Amazon. I've been with Amazon for just under a year now, but I've been working in apprenticeships for the last 7 years, so I've got some experience when it comes to apprenticeship schemes. My role at Amazon is to look after our technical apprenticeship schemes. So I help with apprentices joining the organisation. I support apprentices throughout their programme and help them gain their qualification, and will also support with the offboarding and help them to progress their career within Amazon. And today we've also have our panel who will be able to answer some of your questions. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Dan Matthew-Scott. I work as a software development manager in Prime Video. So I've been at Amazon now for 6 months, pretty much to the day. And I've worked in IT for about too long, over 20 years. And I currently have 2 apprentices in my team, and it's been a really great experience for me, because I've never done this before. So I've really enjoyed working with them and sort of helping them realise their ambitions. And it's been a great time. And I've really enjoyed my time at Amazon as well. It's just been a brilliant 6 months. It's a lot to take on. It's such a big company, and Prime Video's moving very quickly at the moment. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. So I am an SD apprentice. It's a 3-year degree apprenticeship program, and I'm currently in my first year, 4 months in so far, so far so good. I'm currently working for IMDb based in Bristol within the backend team, and I'm really enjoying it so far and being part of this segment of Amazon. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to answering any questions you may have around the program or things in general, and I hope you have a great time.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name's Joy. So I am the data analyst apprentice, and my apprenticeship is a level 3 apprenticeship, and it's also a 2-year program. So I am coming up to 2 months now. Me myself, I was a career changer. So I actually used to do marketing, and then I jumped into a boot camp doing data engineering, and then that's when this position became open for me. And it's been really great because I've really been able to be exposed to the data analyst role, especially being a career change and having to learn so much about the data world. It's been really great. I am within the Prime Video department as well. So I am situated within the content acquisition management team. So what they do is they actually acquire the content and negotiate licenses for movies and TV series to be on the platform itself. And that's where data analysts come in. So we actually help them to make those decisions in terms of just looking at data insights of how well movies and TV programs are already performing, just so they can get what's really working for our customers and not miss anything, any insights there. But yeah, it's definitely something to really enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for that introduction. That was great to hear from you all. So we've got lots on the agenda today. You're going to be getting to learn a little bit more about Amazon. There's a lot of program-specific questions, program-specific questions, and we're going to be, outlining a little bit about why Amazon's such a great place for your apprenticeship. We'll also be hearing a little bit from Daniel later about his experience and kind of getting to Amazon as well. So as I mentioned, this is an interactive session. I'm looking to understand a little bit more about what it is that you think of when you think about Amazon. So what area of Amazon do you sort of think of when you think about Amazon? So just pop your thoughts in the chat. Curious to hear what you all think of. So for me, the start of things that I think of, yes, Jeff Bezos, obviously, is a lot of opportunities around our different sides of the business. Obviously, there's AWS, Prime, as we've got in the chat as well. There's lots of different elements that go into making Amazon, as well as obviously that great next day delivery, clothes shopping. We've got quite a few AWS in there, which is great. Prime membership. Absolutely, lots of different things that go into making Amazon. There are some other areas of the business that maybe you're not so familiar with. We've got a couple of acquisitions which are really exciting, such as Twitch and MGM. Obviously, we've also got other areas of the business like Fire TV and Kindle and lockers. So kind of very much that innovation is at the heart of what makes Amazon. We're going to watch a short video now, which gives you a little bit more of an overview as to what you can understand about Amazon in the UK. So sit back and relax and enjoy the video, and I'll be back in just a minute. Brilliant. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. As we sort of said, there is a lot there with regards to what we're up to in the UK. You know, we're very much sort of supporting today and inventing for tomorrow. We've worked on and invested in a lot of areas, including just walk out technology. There's been a lot of comments in the chat about AWS, which is great. Personal kind of personalized recommendations, one-click shopping, Amazon Studios, and so on. As a fun fact, we're working a lot on home automation. So we've mentioned obviously Alexa. We also are working on our Ring Always Home Cam, which launched in the US in 2022. It's basically a Ring camera that's attached to a drone that can fly predetermined paths in your home when triggered via the Ring alarm sensor or from the Ring app. So there's lots of work that we're doing with regards to innovation, and it's definitely an exciting time to be kind of working on these sort of developments. Over to Sam.
Fab. Thank you, Abby. Thank you so much for that introduction. And that is one of my favourite videos because I think it really shows the how broad the organisation is and what we do for our communities. But I'm here now to talk to you about, you know, what is an apprenticeship and how do they work within Amazon. So if you don't already know, apprenticeships are vocational programs which allow you to gain a qualification whilst also gaining valuable industry experience. So apprenticeships are structured learning programs where you'll spend partly your time at college, university, or the training provider, depending on which pathway you choose, and partly on the job. So they allow you to study to obtain a formal external accredited qualification whilst gaining that strong professional and industry experience. You're also financially covered through the apprenticeship because the program is funded through what we call our Amazon Apprenticeship Levy. So it's a government funded training program, so you won't have any kind of debt with this apprenticeship program. Our apprenticeship schemes are offered to existing employees and also new employees who want to retrain or upskill. They are great alternatives for university or further education. So if you don't want to take that, you know, traditional academic route, then apprenticeships are a great pathway because it really allows you to build on those practical skills and gain that work experience in your chosen vocation. Apprenticeships are very broad and there's lots of different qualifications available. And as I mentioned earlier, I've been in the industry for over 7 years and I've seen the apprenticeship schemes grow and grow and grow. There are so many different opportunities available for you now. But the apprenticeships directly align to the UK's academic levelling system. So if you can see on this slide here, we have intermediate level 2 apprenticeships. They are equivalent to GCSEs. And then we have a pathway all the way until our degree and master's levels. So a level 6 and a level 7 is equivalent to a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. So as you can see here, there is a wide range of qualifications available through apprenticeship programs. So at Amazon, it's a perfect place to learn new skills, and our apprenticeship programs are suitable for candidates with different backgrounds, different qualifications, and different career aspirations. So as you can see on this slide here, in 2023, we will be hiring into the following disciplines. So we have digital and creative, sales and marketing, operations, engineering, technology, business. We have apprenticeship schemes available in all of these different areas. This year marks a big year for us. We're actually celebrating 10 years of apprenticeships within Amazon. And we started back in 2013 and we offered apprenticeships, and we had 3 RME, so our engineer apprentices, join us. And now we have 2,683 apprentices on programme. So if you are to join Amazon, you can see that you'll be part of a big apprenticeship community, and we're really invested in growing that scheme and investing in apprenticeships. Because of our 10 years, we are a key sponsor for National Apprenticeship Week for this year, and we'll be working in partnership with the Department for Education. We're running lots of events and webinars like what we're on right now, and lots of in-person events which will be taking place between the 6th and 10th of February all across the UK. So if you do want to find out more about apprentices at Amazon and how they work, I really encourage you to be a part of those events, and you can register via our splash page or our Eventbrite invitations, and you'll be able to get the details on how to attend. So what is our apprentice vision at Amazon? So apprentices are a part of our DNA. We are continuously investing in apprenticeship schemes, and we want to invest in the next future technologists. We know that apprentices bring fresh perspectives to our organisation, and they really challenge our status quo. And so we want to develop that and build on that apprenticeship talent pipeline. We know that apprentices, they make a real big impact within their teams and their roles within the organisation. So we want to continue to support this growth, and that's why we continue to offer these apprenticeship schemes. So I'll hand you back over now to Abigail, who'll be able to talk to you more about our culture and also our leadership principles.
Thanks so much for that. That's great. Really interesting to hear, Sam. Just going to talk to you a little bit about our leadership principles. To enable Amazon to grow at the pace that it has, there are a couple of things that are really important to us, and those are culture, and we've already touched a little bit upon innovation. Part of the secret sauce, although I guess it's not really so secret anymore, is the leadership principles, which guide how we hire our people and how we evaluate success. We hold ourselves and each other accountable for demonstrating the leadership principles through our actions every day. Our leadership principles describe how Amazon does business, how our leaders lead, and how we keep the customer at the center of all of our decisions. Our unique Amazon culture is described as our leadership principles and help us relentlessly pursue our mission of being the Earth's most customer-centric company, best employer, and safest place to work. On screen, hopefully you'll be able to see our leadership principles. Appreciate the writing's a little bit small, but you'll be able to also go online and have a little bit of extra research on these. I would highly encourage you to do so. You'll be able to see our leadership principles, and this will kind of introduce you to the 16 leadership principles, which are super important to our, I guess, life here at Amazon. There are a few that are potentially a little bit more relevant to the apprenticeship programs. Some of them will resonate highly with you, and I would recommend yourself to get really familiar with them, as well as I said, they are core to how we are interviewing our prospective apprentices, as well as everyone else that we hire into the business. So please do familiarize yourself with these leadership principles. A couple of the ones that will be extra important, I guess, during your applications, I'll go through a few of them now for you. We'll start off with customer obsession. So customer obsession is where we're starting with the customer and we're working backwards, and we work vigorously to earn and keep the customer trust. We also have a high degree of ownership as well. We take a very much a long-term view, and we never say it's not my job. Learn and be curious is incredibly important to these sorts of programs as well. As with curiosity comes the desire for knowledge, and that brings new perspectives. And trust is also, again, super relevant to these programs. It's important that you're listening and being open and respectful. We're not perfect. People do business with people and not organizations. So when innovating, trust is key to building a collaborative approach. And as I said, that innovation piece really is largely at kind of the heart of what it is that we do here. So going back to that kind of working backwards from the customer, customer obsession is one of the founding principles of Amazon. It is all about the customer, and there are many advantages to being a customer-centric and having that kind of customer-centric approach. Here's the big one. Customers are always beautifully, wonderfully dissatisfied, even when they report being happy and business is great. Even when they don't know it yet, customers want something better, and your desire to delight customers will drive you to invent on their behalf. No customers ever asked Amazon to create the Prime membership program, but it sure turns out that they wanted it. Today is day one, every day is day one at Amazon. Possibilities are endless, and you can start today. We like to celebrate you being you. We're a diverse business. We not only create career journeys, we also want to attract apprentices that represent our customers and our diversity of thought. We have a breadth of affinity groups that sort of help to support you in that, and that demonstrate while every employee is unique, there are ties that pull us together. You can be a quiet or active participant in these affinity groups, and you can connect with others who have shared experiences and interest. It's also important to note that our selection and recruitment process is considered consistent and open to all of those who pass the qualifying criteria for each programme. If you do require reasonable kind of a support or reasonable adjustment, please do let us know. We do recognise that all Amazonians are unique. Our uniqueness is bound by similarities. We have a variety of networks available locally and globally that you can access. As I mentioned, we call them affinity groups. There are over 13 globally. And those are kind of inclusive of Amazon people with disabilities, Amazon women in engineering, Asians at Amazon, the Black Employee Network, Body Positive Peers, Families at Amazon, Glamazon, which is our LGBTQ network, Indigenous at Amazon, Latinos at Amazon, Mental Health and Wellbeing, Warriors at Amazon, which is our military affinity group, Women at Amazon, and Women in Finance Global Business Services Initiative. So there are a lot of affinities that can sort of support you in your career here at Amazon. And there are new affinity groups sort of emerging all the time, and they're a great way to connect. Back to you now, Sam.
Fab, thank you, Abby. So yeah, just want to talk to you really about the programs that we've got on offer this year, and I can see a lot of questions in the chat around eligibility and the duration of the program, so I'm hoping this will be able to answer some of your programs. So if you can see on the left hand side of the slide, we've got advanced learning programs. So those are our further education programs, and they range from level 3 up until level 5. So they're equivalent to your A levels or extended diplomas and first year of degree qualifications. And then on the right hand side, we have our degree programs. So these are obviously equivalent to our bachelor's degrees, and we're offering degrees in all different specialisms. You'll also notice that there's a 18 months or 48 months as a duration next to each of the programs. So depending on which program you choose will also decide on, will be the duration of the program. So they're all different durations depending on the actual program itself. So our degree programs tend to be longer because you're training towards a degree, as opposed to the level 3 qualifications, which are a little bit shorter. So, I encourage you to think about the commitment to the program as well, and make sure that, if you do, for instance, want to begin a degree program, you will be studying for 3 years in order to achieve the qualification. You'll see also at the top of the slide, there is a little bit of our eligibility criteria. So in order to be able to enroll onto the apprenticeship programs, you need to have achieved GCSEs, ideally in English and maths. You need to have lived in the UK for the last 3 years and have the right to work in the UK. We're offering these programs nationally throughout our organisation. So depending on the program will depend on where you are based within our organisation. So our programs are based out of our delivery stations, our fulfilment centres, corporate offices. So it really just depends on what the program is and where the role is for that particular program. But they'll all be delivered by specialist training providers, and you'll also have a dedicated program team who will be supporting you throughout the program. Again, if you want to find further information around this, you can look on our website, and we've got detailed information on these particular programs. On this slide, you'll see I've just gone into a little bit more detail about the eligibility and the actual technical schemes that we have on offer. So we're offering 4 technical apprenticeship programs in 2023. And we've also got 2 brand new programs that we've not launched before, and that's Information Communication Technician and also our Cyber Security program. So you'll see underneath the scheme column that there there is a duration. So for instance, with the information communication technician, that is a level 3 qualification, and therefore the duration of that program will be between 15 to 18 months, and that program will be based in London. We've also got the data analyst and the software development engineer. I just want to highlight that these are both degree qualifications, and if you can see in the qualifications gained column that they are actually both the same program but have different specialisms. So you would be working towards a digital and technology solutions degree, but if you were to go down the data analyst route, you would choose the data analyst pathway. If you were to go down the software development engineer route, then you would specialize in the software pathway, but you will have the same qualification. And I think it's also important to highlight that with a degree, it's an holistic qualification. So you'll be learning about digital and technology solutions, so you will gain skills in that area. So although it's a, say for instance, a data analyst program, you won't just learn about data, you'll learn about IT project management, you'll learn about cybersecurity, networking, databases and design modeling. So it really sets you up for success, and it helps you then develop and progress your career within other areas of the organisation. The prerequisites for the degree programs is that, again, you need to have those GCSEs, including maths and English, but because it's a higher level qualification, you'll also need to have a level 3 qualification. So that could be either, A levels, a BTEC extended diploma, a level 3 apprenticeship, and the specialism must be in a STEM subject, so science, technology, economics, or mathematics. So you need to be able to have that qualification to be able to get onto the degree program. That's also the same for our cybersecurity program, but with the cybersecurity program, it is very focused on cybersecurity. So all of the modules and topics within that program will be based around cybersecurity. And again, you need to have those GCSE qualifications in maths and English, and also on here it says 112 UCAS points, which is equivalent to the programs above, and they again needs to be in a STEM related subject. I'll also just mention here as well, because I have seen some people in the chat talk about if you've got a higher qualification, and that's actually a great question, because the idea of the apprenticeship program is that you learn substantive new skills. So say for instance, if you have a computer science degree, you wouldn't be able to qualify for any of these programs because it's very relatable. You wouldn't be learning any new skills because you already have that higher qualification. But for instance, if you had a history degree, but you want to change and you want to get into a tech career, then that is fine to be able to do these qualifications because you are learning substantive new skills. So just, it's just something to bear in mind. But again, if you want to learn about, if you want further information on this program, please do visit our website, because you will be able to see on our website the curriculum for this program. So all of our apprenticeship programs are based on what we call apprenticeship standards. So that is a curriculum. And on our website, there's links to those curriculums so you can see in detail what will be taught as part of these programs and the exact qualifications that you will achieve. So what are we looking for when it comes to apprenticeships, or apprentices, should I say? I think it's important to note with apprentices, we know that you're not a cybersecurity technologist, or you're not a software developer engineer. The idea of the apprenticeship is to help you become one of those. And so we're not looking for previous work experience or qualifications. We want to know that you've got the right aptitude. We want to know that this scheme is relevant to you, and you've got the different specific interests for these particular schemes. And also, obviously, if it's, for instance, with a degree program, having that level 3 qualification helps us know that this is the right route for you. It's about the right attitude. Apprenticeships are difficult. It's, you know, a lot around juggling the apprenticeship work as well as a full-time job as well. So it's really important that you are dedicated to this program. If you start this program, we want to make sure that you're able to complete it. So it's around taking ownership, having that commitment, and really learning and be curious about, you know, how you can develop on the program. And we also look for ambition. We want to make sure that this is your career choice. This is what you want to do. You're passionate about this program and you want to progress, you know, within this discipline. So again, you know, this aligns to and resonates with our leadership principles. And this is exactly who we're looking for. So I'll hand you over to Abigail now, who will be able to talk you through the application and assessment process and what the next steps are for applying.
Thanks, Sam. That was great. So our applications will be opening on the 6th of February. The first stage of this will be you sharing your sort of CV and answering the eligibility questions. You have every opportunity to succeed during our kind of application process. It is very much a succinct process, but it is in depth. It's important that you note as well that while we are interviewing you, you are also interviewing us and making sure that this is the right program for you and that you're interested in it. So I would very much encourage you to take some time before the application's open to familiarise yourself with the potential career that you'll be embarking on. We are looking to sort of assess whether you have the right attitude and ambition and aptitudes to succeed at Amazon, but you will also hear back from us very quickly in terms of whether or not you've been successful. So it's an in-depth process, but it's a pretty quick turnaround, and you're not kind of kept waiting for a long time to know. We do get a lot of applications. So as I said, between now and the application date, do familiarise yourself with these programmes, but also take the time to think about what will make you stand out during your application, and maybe consider different projects that you've worked on in your maybe education or in your own time. Think about the kind of personal projects. For example, if you were applying to an engineering job, that you've built something and that you're sort of showcasing that in your CV. So showcase what it is that you've done, even if it's outside of any kind of lines of work. And prepare yourself alongside our leadership principles as well. As I said before, our leadership principles really do govern how we interview here. So it is really important that you're familiarising yourself with those, as there will be questions around our leadership principles and also questions that are very role specific. So take the time to make sure that you understand kind of the programme that you are applying for. We do get a lot of applications, so think about what you can do to make yourself stand out. So our applications, as I said, open from the 6th. Hopefully you're not thinking, should I join Amazon now, but around kind of what scheme is right for you and how you apply. I'd encourage you to sort of take the time to understand a little bit more about Amazon. There are a lot of YouTube videos, for example, about, you know, why Amazon's such a great place to work for, and a little bit about how the employees sort of find their day to day. We'll also, you know, we do run that fair and balanced interview process again. So if you need or support or reasonable adjustment, please do make sure that you let us know. If anyone wants to apply, you can look on the website for information, and applications, as I said, will open from the 6th. You can also join our mailing list and we will keep you up to date. So now we're going to be hearing from the wonderful Daniel, who's going to be walking us through a little bit about him.
Hello. Yeah, so as I said before, I've been in IT now about 20-something years. So I, like probably quite a lot of people on here that are wanting to get into apprenticeships, I was kind of self-taught myself. I had a sort of interest in computers, but when it was back when I was computers, there's no internet. It was all things like Spectrums and Commodores and stuff, so really old stuff that you've probably never seen. We used to have to load things from tapes, so it was quite interesting. But yeah, so I progressed from that, and I studied it at sixth form, and then I got into work through that way. And I've just kind of worked in IT ever since, and specifically in development. And I've worked many roles. So I've worked in, my first job was writing train planning software. And then after that, I did mortgage brokering software and print software. And then I worked in payments for 16 years, which was quite a long time. And then I joined Amazon. And I think one of the reasons was I really enjoyed what I was doing in payments, because it was really large scale, and I could see what I did reflect in, every day. Like I used to be responsible for the BACS payment system, was one of the ones I was responsible for, which is basically all your salaries in the UK will go through that, all your direct debits. So I was looking for something with that equivalent kind of scale. And then, Amazon reached out and I interviewed, and that's kind of the great thing about Amazon. It's just so big that it touches everybody's lives at the moment. So especially with Prime Video as well, because the area I work in is called partner engineering. So we work with television manufacturers like Sony, Samsung, and there's two ways the application gets delivered. So the Prime Video app that you all obviously use, that's on your television, there's two ways that gets out to your TV. Either they build it themselves with a software kit we give to them, or we build it for the TV. And if we build it, it's generally the area I work in, the porting team. And specifically, my porting team looks after Android TV and Roku, which are little boxes that are really popular in the States. So, I mean, Android TV has a ridiculous amount of installed devices, and it's 200 million or something. So it's seeing that thing where we package something up and we do a release like we did last week, and knowing that that's going to deliver out to 200 million devices is massively impressive. And one of the big projects we're working on now is Samsung. They used to develop their own application based on our kit that we give them, but they want to step away from that, and we want to take it on so we can add more features to it and bring more features to Samsung TVs quickly, because Samsung represent about the same area of the market as Android TVs, but Samsung run on their own operating system. So our latest apprentice, who started about 3 months ago, called Camille, he started just at the right time when we were starting this Samsung transition. So he's been heavily involved in that. So he's had some great experiences working with that project. So it's not just been software development, because that's just one aspect of being a software engineer. So he's also, we've worked with the device itself. So, we've had to open up the device and attach a debug board, and then connect the debug board to a laptop, and then we access the operating system on the device itself, and we load on test applications, and then we do all sorts of test scenarios, and we instrument the test scenarios so we can test the memory usage, and we have also hardware to monitor how the audio and visual sync in, so like a camera facing the television. So he's been able to get involved with that kind of really broad base of work on something that's really going to be high impacting as well. Because when we release our first Amazon home built Prime Video application, he'll have played a big part in that. So that's been a really great success story for Camille, and he's been a huge part of that. He's really helped us through, because he's got a great attitude, and he's really worked hard. And as I said, aptitude, I think it was on the top of that list of things people said. I think that's key to this, because I think people focus a lot on software engineering and on the actual coding part of things. So, what particular programming language am I going to learn? I have to learn. I think that's the wrong attitude to take to some degree, especially nowadays. I mean, maybe when I was 20 years ago, and there were very, technology was a lot narrower in scope, but nowadays the scope's so huge, you need to focus on the broad skill set. So in the industry, there's this concept of a T-shaped person. So they have a depth in one skill, like, for example, you might know your coding very well, but you also need to know all the other things that go around that. So you need to know your networking, operating systems, hardware, because unless you're aware of those things, then especially today's world where everything is interconnected and everything, you'll never build something in isolation. You'll never build just a standalone application. It'll always be either part of something that talks to the internet or relies on something else or works with a specific hardware. So that's the aptitude part. And I think the apprenticeship scheme that Amazon offers is great because, you get exposure to that ability to widen the skill set beyond just sitting there churning out programs to a specific specification. You get to see, how real life works. That it's a bit messy, and you have to understand how to work with other teams, how a massive organization like Amazon has all these developers. With Prime Video, it's not just what we do is this tiny little sliver, and you've got all these other bits that stack up behind it, and how hundreds of developers are able to work on the same product together and ship something that at the end is a single application that sits on the TV, and then pulls video down from the cloud to watch on the device. And, being able to do that, it's not something you can really teach. You have to learn. And it's great as part of the apprenticeship. You can learn that alongside the more academic things such as, computer science and things like that. So that's what I've seen so far, especially, as I said, with the Samsung work we've done. We've also got another apprentice called Sarah, and she worked on a project where we had a gap. Probably I'll try and skip over this because it's quite boring, but it was a really important gap for us where we automatically deny new devices that are released on Android because we want to certify them to prove the best experience for the customer on Prime Video. But there are occasions where Google would launch a device and then they wouldn't tell us that this device existed, and we'd have a mismatch between two databases. So Sarah, as an apprentice, she'd learned Python, and she learned various some of the internal databases, and she developed an application that would look at the two databases, look for differences, and then send out alerts if there was a difference. And that's been really important to us because it's allowed us to more quickly identify where we've missed a certification, and we can bring the device in and get it done, and then allow customers to get their Prime Video on these newer devices as they come out. Because they tend to, although it represents what you call a long tail, which is lots of small volume devices, but there's a lot of them, so it can represent quite a lot of customers when it all adds up. So yeah, and I think I can't speak to some of the other apprenticeships, but what I've seen, the software engineering one is brilliant. The way they encourage you, the team at QA, they encourage you to pick projects that are going to align with the work you're doing at Amazon, and also they make sure you carve out enough time to do your academic studies and at the same time get that industrial experience. So cool. I hope I've not rambled on too much.
That was great. Thank you so much. It's always interesting hearing another perspective. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. We're now going on to the Q&A section of our session. So thank you all so much for submitting the questions that you have so far. We're going to try and get through as many as we can. If we can't get to your question, I'm sorry, we have a limited amount of time, but we'll share the email address as well that you can get in touch with if your question has not been answered. So just to kick off the first question, the first question I have is regarding disabilities and sharing that with regards to the application. We do have our ACAT team that will be able to sort of support you throughout the entirety of your interview process. So we do have a team that are in place to support that. We also have another question here with regards to what university is providing these degrees. Maybe Sam, you're the best person to answer this for us.
Yes, absolutely. So for the Digital and Technology Solutions degree, it will be the University of Roehampton. They will be accrediting the qualification. And for the Cybersecurity degree, it will either be Roehampton University or the University of West England. And for some of our master's degrees, it will be Northumbria University. So it really just depends on the programme and who accredits that qualification.
Amazing, thank you. That's brilliant. What coding languages do you use day to day as a software engineer? I think those are probably good ones for Seiram, Joy, and well, probably Daniel, and Seiram.
Yeah, sure. So currently in IMDb, I'm using TypeScript, but to be honest, it depends where you are. So some of my apprentice colleagues in Cambridge or London are using Python or Java. Yeah, so it basically depends. But however, within our course, we get to kind of experiment with Python and Java as well. So yeah, there's just a lot of languages you can learn, basically.
Great.
I can give insight for analysts if you want.
That would be great.
Extra information. So in terms of, because I know it's a big question of the kind of coding languages you use, but with analysts specifically, SQL is a language to learn, as well as Python. But here at Amazon, SQL is heavily needed. So that's definitely a very important coding language to learn if you're going to apply for the data analyst apprenticeship here. And I haven't had a need personally yet to learn Python, but I know some other data analyst apprentices who are already using Python, so it'd be important to learn that too. But SQL, we're always gathering data from the databases with that code, so highly recommend that one. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. And Daniel?
Yep. So in where I work in the porting team, we mainly use Java, but mostly Kotlin, which is a build on Java, and C++ because we do a lot of low-level stuff. But also we do get involved with the TypeScript stuff, which will be similar to the IMDb stuff because that's what the higher-up client layer is written in. But with Amazon, it tends to be more of a different teams do different languages, and it tends to be more of a right tool for the job kind of approach. So, for example, in Prime Video at the moment, they are rebuilding some of the bits that are written in TypeScript in Rust, which then compiles to WebAssembly. So you don't need to know, but there's just different languages. It's whatever the best tool for the job is, really. So, as I said, it's not really focusing on specific languages. It's about having the aptitude to be able to spread yourself across all languages. That's the key.
Definitely, you hear a lot about being language agnostic here. So there's always a lot of opportunities to work with different languages. That's great. Thank you so much. We've also got a question here, are these apprenticeships suitable for someone over the age of 40? And Sam, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, of course. So absolutely. We have a lot of career changers, and we've got apprentices from all different ages on our program. So as long as you've got the right eligibility criteria, then age, we hire apprentices at any age. And we actually encourage, our more senior apprentices because, it's great that you want to change career and that you want to try something different. And that's the whole idea of the apprenticeship program.
Brilliant. Thank you. I guess as a follow-on from the previous question around languages, we've got a question regarding should people know the languages before they start, or whether it's whether they'll be kind of taught on the job. Sam, or do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so whilst we don't request you to have specific coding knowledge, it just helps if you've got a passion around it, or you've perhaps had a go at it, and hopefully, obviously, if you've got a level 3 qualification in a similar type subject, then you'll probably have some knowledge around it as well. But we don't look for you to be an expert in coding, because that's the whole idea of the program, is that you'll learn on the job as well as in your training as well. So they will help you build on that skill set.
Brilliant, thank you. One for our apprentices. Did you choose what team you wanted to work with in your program? Did you get to choose, or how did that work for you?
No, I didn't get to choose. So because I chose Bristol is mainly IMDb. However, I really don't regret coming to Bristol at all. And also, you don't get to choose, but you get to learn what you need to learn as you would anywhere as well. So I wouldn't be worried at all about that.
Yeah, I would add going through the process as well of the interviews. They really kind of listen to what you say, because what they want to do is they want to match you to the best department as well in terms of the skills that you already have, which is brilliant as well, because that just kind of puts you a step ahead anyway in your learning in your department. And with my own personal experience, I was given this position in Prime Video because of my background in marketing. And that was really a great example of just really seeing the power of transferable skills. So if you have any transferable skills, I would definitely recommend just make sure you make that shine as well, because they definitely want to match you to the best place for you.
Great answer, thank you. There's definitely a lot of opportunities here for sure. There's one asking if you have to be 18 to apply. Yes, you have to be 18 to apply. And another one here is if qualifications are obtained outside of the UK, are we eligible for this programme, please? Sam.
Yes, so if you've got qualifications overseas, then as long as they are equivalent to the UK academic system, then that's absolutely fine. So you'd have to get some kind of transcript to demonstrate that it's equivalent to, say, for instance, a GCSE or an A level. So as long as you have that, then we can accept those qualifications.
Definitely. And do you want to talk a little bit around working in the office?
Yes, I do, because I can see some questions here around, is it a flexible role? Is it working in the office? So I just want to say that all of our apprenticeship opportunities are office based. We want our apprentices to be present, to be able to have that experience of working at Amazon and in the offices. Our teams are based in the offices, so it's a really good learning opportunity for you to be there, to share best practice, to learn from individuals, learn from your colleagues. So they are office based roles, and you will need to be in the office. So I saw a question around, would you need to relocate? If, say, for instance, you're applying for a role in London and you don't live in London, then yes, you would need to relocate to make sure that you're available and you're able to attend the office.
That's brilliant, thank you. We have another one here, which is probably most suitable for you, Joy, is what will a data analyst usually do at Amazon?
Yeah, so typically, as a nutshell, because it depends what department you're in, because depending on the department, because Amazon is so big, there's so many departments, in terms of the business need of the department. But typically what you do is you are providing insights, data insights, for the team to be able to kind of look at blind spots in terms of being able to make data informed decisions. I mean, I can give you an example with my role. So I'm sitting within the content acquisition management team. So they acquire the content and they negotiate it to be able to be viewed onto our platforms, but it also needs to be content that customers are going to enjoy, so they're always keeping up with trends of the industry as well. And what we do is we provide the insights of how the movies or TV series are performing already on the platforms, that they can't otherwise just see themselves. It's through the use of data. And we have many different metrics as well that can help us in terms of just really kind of analysing that together. And just one little tiny example of one metric I could give you is as a full picture really, is like looking at the completion rates. So one movie, for example, on average, everyone in the UK watched about 80% of this movie, whereas another movie was 10%, and then you can they watched 10% before they switched off the movie, and then it's just having to take that and kind of dive deeper. Why is that? Maybe they enjoyed this movie more. So as an example, that is that kind of this. We provide that data in the forefront, so then they can be aware, and it helps them to drive their decisions and what to do about it and their next steps. So yeah, it's depending on where you are situated, but yeah, we provide those insights really as analysts.
Amazing, thank you. And did you have a base knowledge before you enrolled in the course?
So I was doing a boot camp. So I did actually study a 10-week boot camp in data engineering. So I already had an introductory really into using SQL, Python, and data modeling. One thing I didn't learn during my bootcamp was actually in terms of using Excel spreadsheets. So that's something I really realized that I really needed to improve my knowledge and skills on. So I've really been working on. So I say as data analysts, we need to definitely learn Excel. So use the opportunity on your apprenticeship to really kind of deep dive and learn into that, into different Excel tricks. But yeah, some knowledge I had introduction, but it wasn't until I started my apprenticeship and actually getting my tasks to actually do that it's like putting knowledge to practice is just completely different. And it's having that exposure. I would say having the work on the apprenticeship has been so meaningful, because there's been times where I thought, oh, I could do this, I've learned it, but then I'm kind of having to relearn a lot of things as well, with dive moving forward. But that's what you want, because you need the challenges to be able to grow. So I guess just to answer your question, I'd say I had a bit of introductory, some things I didn't quite learn, but you get all the opportunities on the apprenticeship to definitely learn it all. So it's not that you need to already know it, basically, if you know what I mean.
That's brilliant, thank you. That's great. So we have a question here, probably suited for you, Sam. Can I apply to 2 different apprenticeships at the same time if I'm unsure of the field I want to go into?
Yes, absolutely. So you can apply for as many apprenticeship schemes as you want. But what I would advise you to do is to really take the time to think about what is the right pathway for you, and just narrow it down to as little as possible with the amount that you apply for, just to make sure that you're getting the right exposure and you get to go through the application process. Sometimes it's difficult when we have apprentices just apply for all different schemes. So yeah, really think about what it is that you want to do. But I appreciate some of our schemes are very similar, like the data analyst and the software, for instance, because it's the same program. So, if that is the case, then yes, by all means, please apply for both.
Brilliant. And another one probably for you as well is, can you apply if you don't have A-levels in STEM subjects and only have humanities degrees?
So that would be dependent on the qualification itself. So we'd have to look at that as an individual basis. We would have to have a look at the qualification and what work experience you have as well, because if you don't have the required qualifications, we can also look at work experience. You'd need to have around 2 years work experience in the same or similar field. So I would encourage you just to apply, and what we'll do is we will look at your eligibility. If you are successful, we would look at your qualifications and see if it's the right fit for the program.
Great, thank you. There's been a couple of questions with regards to where people should apply. There was a link on the previous slide. I'm just going to pop it back here so that you can make sure that you can click that as we're here. You can follow the QR code. In terms of what proportion of applicants do we have that are, so how many applicants do we have for the sort of software engineering programs? Do we know kind of roughly how many applicants we have for the roles?
Applicants, well, apprentices wise, we have around 20% of our apprentices are SDEs. So it's quite a big amount and SDEs are one of our biggest tech programs. And data analysis is coming close as well now. That's a growing scheme.
Amazing, thank you. So we probably have time for one more question, which will be, oh, sorry, one second. Sorry, there's lots of questions coming through. Just want to make sure that I can do one more. just want to mention again, we've got another question regarding age and kind of age of applications. We've had someone say, I'm 58 years old now, could I still try for this opportunity? We would highly encourage you to apply for this. There's no kind of age limit, so the opportunity is available. Please, do take the time and have a little bit of a look at the opportunities. Absolutely take a look and see if there's a program that looks interesting to you. So we're just about out of time now. As I said, that there is an email address here for any additional questions. Appreciate that there were a lot of questions coming through for this webinar. So if we haven't been able to touch on your question, we will definitely get back to your email should you have any kind of questions for us. Remember that vacancies do open from the 6th of February. So don't delay your application. As we have mentioned, we do get a lot of applications coming through for these programs, but you have every reasonable chance of success. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you on the team in the future. Take care.